started here. Welcome to It's Boston Sports Kid. Mike, Liam, and Vinny here, and we're going to talk about the Bruins playoff preview versus the Washington Capitals coming this Saturday night.
Oh, Bruins!
Let's go, Bruins. And now that we have jumped ahead, still, fuck Tom Wilson. Fuck him.
Fuck Wilson.
Yes, we can finally talk about Tom Wilson.
Bitch.
All right.
And now that everyone's caught up to speed and saw the whole 6 fights. Oh, no,
no,
you're
that's
supposed
fucking
to
bad.
be our fucking trash. Shut up. Shut up. You shut up yourself.
The fact that they didn't suspend him is ridiculous.
The fact that he wants to say that it was a clean hit is ridiculous.
He's an idiot. So
I mean, same with
Speaking of Wilson, did you guys happen to see what Cassidy said today about Wilson when he was being
what'd he
interviewed by
say?
Toucher and Rich? Well, he had to be careful with the words that he said, obviously, but he feels that his team is more equipped to handle the Tom Wilson of the NHL than, say, the Rangers or
definitely
any
the
other
Rangers.
team.
The Rangers got nobody.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, because like that hit on Carlo, he got into like 2 fights. So I'm just saying, Tom Wilson tries this shit out with the Bruins, dude. He's about to get a fist in the face.
Oh, yeah. Miller, Richie,
Multiple.
Tenori. Like, there's
Just
plenty
name
of
a
people
few.
that will stand up to him, so.
Yep. And even the Stars go after him when it comes to it too. It's like, pretty much the whole team.
Jake
stand up for
Frederick will
themselves.
go after him if they keep him in.
He definitely wants to. You know that's gonna happen. I don't know if
Frederick
he's gonna
also
get
wants to
in
bench,
the
which is
but-
funny as hell. Like, he wants to fight everybody on the Washington Capitals bench.
Frederick's he reminds me of he's
No.
kind of like Marchand in a way. He's just young and scrappy.
The fact that he tried to go after Ovechkin was awesome. He's like,
I don't know
Ovechkin,
if he's gonna
look
get on
at
the
him.
lines. We're not sure how the line's gonna shake out if he's actually gonna get out there or not. But if he does, that would be interesting to see him go up against Tom Wilson.
Well, if you don't see it in game 1, you most likely will see it in game 2. Different
Yeah.
tempo,
Depends on how things play out, exactly, yeah. But let's get things started. We'll jump into it. We'll do a quick recap of what happened, basically the last week of games, because the last time we talked to you, we were going into... Was it Buffalo that we played before the Rangers? Who was it?
New Jersey.
New Jersey,
Jersey,
yeah.
that's
Let
right.
us get the Devils.
So we had 2 New Jersey games, beat New Jersey in both. Then they played 2 Rangers games, and they won the first Rangers game, but they lost the second Rangers game. The first one, they was coming off that infamous brawl with the Rangers and the Capitals.
Oh, yeah.
That game last Wednesday night, which was
6
a
guys
brawl.
in the freaking penalty box in the first 10
I mean,
minutes.
they literally dropped the puck, and as soon as they dropped the puck, all 3 forwards just started fighting with each other.
Yep.
It was just all the forwards just went at it as soon as the puck was dropped. It was just like ding, ding, ding. The puck was the bell, basically.
Yep. No, it definitely was. Oh, it was beautiful. That was old-time hockey. And I love old-time hockey. I love it.
Oh, so
Old-time
there was
hockey's
many
the
fights that night.
best.
I think the Rangers, the reason they beat us that other night, I think it was they just wanted to. That was like the last game of this season. I think they were just really trying to
They wanted to
end it on a good note.
Yeah, no, they definitely were.
And the Bruins were kind of coasting and probably took them lightly. But after that loss, they knew that we had the Islanders on Monday, and that was the game. We had to win that game because we didn't want to give the Islanders any hope of getting that 3rd spot.
Yep.
We wanted to wrap that up. And
Punch
all we
that
needed
with
to
a
do was
point.
get a point.
Yep.
And
That's what we
the
did.
Bruins got a point. They ended up going to overtime, and
And winning.
Taylor Hall finished that off. Yep, Taylor Hall finished that win off for him with a sweet, filthy goal. Oh my God, that guy he's ready for the playoffs. I mean,
He's ready.
Yeah,
He's
two-
feeling it.
I think that was his
believe it
best
was
game
the
as a Bruin.
best.
He had 2 goals that game.
I finished the season since the deadline. I think the best record in hockey.
Yeah,
I think it was like
they were
16.
they definitely
4,
were in the
and
division.
1. I
Yeah,
believe.
I know they definitely were in the division.
Was it you that sent that thing, or did I just see it on Facebook? I think I just saw it on Facebook.
I mean, I could tell you right quick. So like the trade deadline was April 12th, correct?
Yes.
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 And they basically went. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row that they had won after the trade deadline. Then they lost to Buffalo and Pittsburgh, and then that brought them to 6-2. And then they won the final 2 in April, so they were 8-2 in the month of April after the deadline. And then
I
in
got it right
May,
here. I got it right here. They
yep,
Bruins had, this is from their stats stellar stretch run, Boston Bruins Facebook page. The Bruins had the best
13-4.
record. They had the best record, 12-4-1. The line of Krejci, Hall, and Smith
12-1.
combined for 19 goals
No,
in
it should be. It's
games.
It's 13. They had 13 wins, I believe.
Oh, that's might have been
Oh
right
no,
before.
my bad. You're right. It was 12. It was 12. I miscounted that one.
All right.
Yeah,
And
12-4-1.
they were second overall with 58 goals scored in the entire NHL.
Wow.
58.
Really, in one of those losses, really, I would say it's 12-3-1 because that last loss against the Capitals on Tuesday.
Yeah, that didn't really count.
Like,
I mean, come on.
that was the baby Bruins. They like none of the players.
And they almost
started,
won if she didn't get that.
And they
goal
almost
with
won.
1
They
second
only lost
left,
2-1 on literally, like a crazy shot at the end. Like the fact that the Capitals rested some of their players, but they had a lot of their stars out there. Like Ovechkin was still out there.
Wilson.
I know they sat Oshie, but Wilson was out there. Like they had a lot of their guys out there, so it wasn't like it was baby Bruins versus baby Caps.
No, they just wanted to win.
Some of their starters.
Trying to get a little oomph into the playoffs.
The baby Bruins held their own against them, and yeah, so and really that was the only so that having that game be a loss, I wouldn't really consider that much of a loss.
I'd actually look at that with
So,
upside, to be honest.
That record though,
Exactly. That's how I see it too.
12-4-1, basically 12-3-1. That was a great way to finish it off. And really the only losses they had, they lost a game against New Jersey, a game against the Rangers. They were kind of close. They were both by a goal, or that separated them. And it's like they had that loss to Buffalo after they beat them. Basically, like
if I remember, they were
ones
all like the second night of a back-to-back. So they were pretty much all scheduled losses.
Their first loss was the Buffalo one. They lost to Buffalo. That was really like the night after they had like killed Buffalo. So it was like kind of like a rust. Like they were just kind of tired probably. They let up easy. Then when they lost to New Jersey, it was literally the night after they had beat them 3-0. And then when they lost to the Rangers Saturday, it was literally 2 days after they had beaten them 4-0. So it's almost like they beat them, and then like the next game they kind of took their foot off the gas pedal. The only real tough loss that I say like the other team was better in that game was the Pittsburgh game when they lost 1-0. And really it was just like that game was tight all throughout.
Yeah, that was a tight game the whole time. Like
that was a tight game all throughout. And it was just that one goal was the difference. And then they followed that up. They came right back up 2 days later, and they beat Pittsburgh 3-1. So
yeah, that was a clinic. Like they turned it right around from the last game.
They basically haven't lost multiple games in a row since before the trade deadline. Literally right before the last time they lost 2 in a row was the 2 days before the trade deadline when they lost to the Capitals and the Flyers in that weekend before the trade deadline.
Yep.
Which everyone was like, we were all like, oh my God, this team doesn't look good at all. And then the next thing you know, they make that huge trade for Taylor Hall, and boom.
Yep, and then changes it all around.
Crazy.
And it's like, thank you.
Honestly, I'm going to say this with kind of confidence. I believe that was one of the best pickups. Best in-season pickup since like the last 15 years. But one of the best. He's up there with the Aguino signing. He's up there with trading for Chara.
I mean, you can definitely see it's been like a fire ignited underneath him. Like he's loving playing here, and he's looking like the Taylor Hall from his basically his MVP season that he had. Basically,
his New Jersey day, yeah. And New Jersey was winning, but like not no more.
I mean, he was the best player in hockey that year, and he's looking like he's regain that form again the way he's playing, starting to play now, and it's only going to get better going to the
Yeah,
playoffs. So that's
because
perfect.
yeah, and plus
It's like
Fine
the
with me.
spotlight's not on him. He's got
Yeah.
guys like Bergeron, Marshy, Pasternak, Krejci.
But
and
I think what we've
Smith's turned into
seen,
one.
I think what we've seen the last couple of weeks now is like he was definitely feeling his way in on the team, on the line, getting to know the guys the first couple of weeks. He had some plays. You saw he made some plays. He had some goals, and it was good. But the last couple, like I would say, like the last week or so, he really turned it on, and I think you see a real chemistry with Krejci and Craig Smith on that second line, and he's been all over the place, like scoring. He's been back on the defensive end making plays. Like he's literally been all over the ice making plays.
Yeah, he's
Crazy.
now a 200-foot player, and that's Cassidy is. That's pretty much his game plan. Cassidy wants 200-foot players. They don't want to play offense and defense. That's why he has the offense. The defenseman, I should
And
say,
the defense
always
creates offense
come
a lot of the times.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen.
It's like everyone can make a play, so go out there and make a play. Don't just pussyfoot and play defense. Like get in there, get and try to especially when we're down a goal or two. Like get in there, get shots on net, like get going.
Yeah, I've been so happy with that line, that second line. I feel like they've been at times are even playing better than the first line. Like the chemistry's just been on point with them, and like we've seen it with Krejci. Like I honestly like if Bergeron was God forbid to ever go down for an injury or whatever, he had to miss some time. I'd feel comfortable with Krejci on that top line. We obviously we love having him on the second line, so we have that depth and even better two lines out there. But if he ever had to play first line minutes, he could do it.
Yeah,
because he's that good, and it's really showing up now that you see him with Taylor Hall. Like it's kind of brought that out of him, and he's just been on fire the last few weeks. And Craig Smith is kind of like that grinder on that second line. He's kind of like what Marchand does on the first line. He kind of gets dirty, gets the puck, brings the energy, while you have Krejci, filling the Bergeron role, and then Hall's taking over as like the Pasternak of the second line.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty good. It's what we needed for the second line throughout the past couple of years. Since Nebraska hasn't really looked that great.
We're saying it all season.
Kasha. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, Kasha's another guy we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy.
Oh, man.
He really is just getting hit by the injury bug hard, and I feel bad for the guy.
One game back, and he already gets injured again, so he's probably not going to be
And it
involved
was
in the
off
playoffs.
of that big, it was off that big hit too, and he popped right back up.
Yeah.
That's like the sad part. Like he popped right back up after he got hit. Because he was.
It's weird. It's like once the adrenaline wore off, it's like then the injury came in. It's like is he?
Yeah.
So is he a guy that just has issues like getting beaten up and he can't just he's not tough enough for it, or he just has is he like what I mean? Like injuries are an issue with him. So it's like he's gonna get that label of an injury-prone player now.
No, and it's already pretty much happened, and it kind of sucks because I feel like this guy would have actually been a huge help, but since he was injured for he played I think 6 to 8 games and then got injured and then hasn't been back since.
He barely played any of the season.
Yeah,
and he finally came back and then got injured that one game.
And it's the injury too that they haven't really actually discussed, or at least I haven't seen anything on. So I don't know if it's exactly upper
I have
body.
No idea what's happened.
And to get
Charlie Coyle's another guy that's gotten injured, and hopefully he should be back soon. They said he should be back for the playoffs. I don't know exactly if he's going to be back for game 1. Did you guys see anything on that?
I haven't seen anything
Charlie
yet.
Coyle, I haven't seen anything yet, but I think Cassidy hasn't mentioned anything in the interview from today.
He might mention him tomorrow. We'll see. It's going to be Friday. So, one day before, the game. So, I would probably say that he might be.
Look at the morning state practice. If he's out there, he's going to be good to go. Which is generally what they like to do.
We talked about Taylor Hall, the second line, a lot of the players that we've liked so far. Another guy I'd like to bring up who kind of got promoted to that third line was Sean Corrali. I think he's been playing sneakily really well, and it's showing up a little bit on that third line now. He was with Coyle with the Cole injury, he's taken over at center, and they've kind of put a kind of mixture there with Richie Corrali, and I think DeBrusque was up there. Wagner was up there the other night. They were trying to play with those lines. But he's another guy I like going into the playoffs. I think he continues to need to have some strong play.
Yeah, Crowley has always have also like shown up during the playoffs. Also, it's like sometimes like not on the scoreboard, but like he gets the goals that we need. But at least like he's flying. He's throwing the body. He's getting pucks.
He's
in
another
the
guy
zone.
that's kind of like what I like see like Craig Smith in. He's like a guy. He's just getting after the puck.
Exactly.
He's always like making these extra effort plays.
Which is like we definitely need a lot of players like that. So I mean, it's good. I think he's getting ready for playoffs now too, big time. He's ready.
Is there anybody else that you guys wanted to point out that you thought is looked primed for a great playoff run?
Definitely Riley.
Honestly,
Mike Riley?
Yeah, Riley.
Riley's looking pretty good. On it. Like
yeah, that was a great trade. It's crazy how our defensive depth went from like depleted to like now we're almost stacked at defense.
Honestly, what I'm hoping for, and you guys are probably gonna know this too, but I'm hoping for one bad game from Rask. That's what I'm hoping for.
Because I don't want a bad game from him because it's the playoffs now.
Then we put the kid in, and just like the Blues beforehand, just like all the other teams beforehand, Cinderella story with Swayman, leading him in to be the goalie of the future for the Bruins and winning a Stanley Cup.
I just want to say one thing to that point. Don't get me wrong. Swayman, I think, has been great. I think our future is in perfect hands with him. Yeah. But one advantage I see that the Bruins have over everyone in this East Division is veteran goalie. Not just like having the veteran goalie that's got playoff experience. Because if you look at all the other ones, Pittsburgh's got Tristan Jarry. You got Varlamov and Sorokin over in the Islanders. Varlamov, he's been good. He's been kind of up and down at times.
Yeah.
And then who I don't even know who Washington's going to be going with.
Sergeyev or something like
Samsonov? Is it Samsonov, I think?
It's either Samsonov or Sergeyev. Like, something Russian.
Yeah, I'm not sure who. I'm not sure because they've kind of had like
They actually I think had a couple injuries at goaltender.
They have. Samsonov was out for a while. He had COVID, and but like I said, like either way, no matter who they go with, they're not going to have the playoff experience, which is kind of why I'm glad that we drew the Capitals in round one because I think we have that advantage over them. Is like the Capitals game.
It's going to be a lot to scoring. That's for sure. I feel.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot to scoring, but. And I think the Bruins can keep pace in everything that the Caps do. The Bruins can keep pace with them, if not do better. They can score. They can play tough. Get into scrums and everything. They're well matched teams. And I think the difference is going to be the goaltending. And I think we have the advantage there with Rask over Samsonov.
Yep. We just gotta hope that we stay out of the box. That's
been an issue with them.
Can you sit here and confidently say that you can trust Rask when it comes time for it? He lost in Game 7
this season. Now hear me out.
And he lost.
Now hear me out.
Chicago.
So, I know what you're gonna say. All those games he's lost, but hear me out. This is a new season. It's a different season, and he missed the majority of the season. He just came back. He came back in April, right?
Yeah, from injury and everything. Yep.
From a back injury.
Yeah.
Yep.
That could cause him to be out
at
any time, though.
It could, but here's my point. So he's came back. He didn't play a lot this season, so he's pretty fresh. And he's looked pretty good in the games he's been in since he's been back. So him having that veteran experience in the playoffs and everything, I think is going to be an advantage for us. And not to mention that he's rested. He doesn't have the wear and tear as some of the other goalies have had this season. So he's coming into the playoffs fresh.
Yeah.
If he does get injured again, that's why they have. I think they'll go. I think they will go with Swayman at that point because I think they like Swayman better than Halak
Yeah, no,
right
they've
now.
already said that
The way he's been
Swayman's going to be
playing,
backing him up. A lot
Oh
will
yeah,
not
they
be in that.
yes they
which is
have.
why, which is why I'm confident
Yeah,
because he's the insurance policy. Like I think Rask is primed to have a great postseason run because he's fresh. You know, he hasn't been worn down all season. He came back from the injury. He's looked good, so I don't think that's gonna be an issue. I don't think he's still injured or anything. If he does get another injury, I think we'll be in good hands with Swayman.
no,
So I'm actually I think the Bruins have the best goalie situation going into the playoffs. To be honest,
I think we do too. Absolutely agree. And it's like,
I'm not.
and I don't wish any ill on Rask. I am confident that he can bring us to a Stanley Cup final.
No,
But
Hey,
like,
you can't wish for any just terrible games because it's the playoffs. You
yeah,
can't just
and
be
the
like
way he's been
I
looking,
want him
he's
to
been
blow a
looking
game to get
on
Swayman
point.
in there.
Yeah, and the way he's
Yeah.
been looking on point. It's just defense. Defense collapses front and front. He's one man. You know, he can only do so much.
Yeah.
Even
I don't know, man.
Same thing with Swayman. It's like,
Swayman hasn't let up more than 3 goals only one time this in the 10 games he's played.
yeah, but look at the defense.
He's been
the
great.
defense fucking
Don't
has
get me
been
wrong.
fucking great around him
That
also.
defense was against Philly. Otherwise, he has held
Yeah,
Washington
but I'm
to
saying
only 2.
they have been. He has been great. But
Pittsburgh
I
to
still
1.
think just having playoff hockey is a completely different breed than regular season hockey. Everyone knows this, and having that experience I think is really valuable, and we're gonna see that I think play out in these playoffs with Rask being the most experienced in this division at least.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
Getting to the we brought up defense, so I do want to get to that point a little bit. How we mentioned earlier, the defense has finally gotten healthy again. We finally gotten pretty much everyone back. Carlo's back.
Yeah.
Tenorti's there. We got Kevin Miller back. He hasn't been out for a while, so it's like, and I think it's helped that they've gotten a bunch of players, got more depth that they've been playing well to be able to rotate guys, keep them fresh that were getting injured a lot.
Oh, absolutely. That's
And
what they need to do.
I
Make
think
sure of that.
I think a big guy that needs to be huge this playoffs, and I think he can step up to the plate, is going to be your number one D, Charlie McAvoy.
Exactly.
I
My
think he's
thinking as
primed.
well.
I think he's primed to take over as the top defenseman. I mean, he took over as the top defenseman this season. I think he's primed to head into the playoffs as the top defenseman and play the lights out. And I think you need to have, other than the top two lines continuing to play great, as far as the other players, the role players, I think, in the goalie, whether it's Rask or Swayman, I think McAvoy is a key player that needs to have a great playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, I would say, like, even though Richie won the seventh player award, I feel like I'd give it still to McAvoy. He has been kind of like, he's carried the team in certain fucking ways that, like, from defensive to freaking offense, and it's like, he's been just
Like you said, yeah, he's the epitome of what Cassidy wants. You know,
he's
full
pretty
ice
much the
player,
Drew Doughty.
just like-
Like, we've got a Drew Doughty on our
exactly,
team.
yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
going to continue to get better, and he's going to continue to fucking put. He's eventually going to put in goals even more, and same with thing for assists. It's just a matter of time. And these
I think he
playoffs,
needs to
I
have a
think,
great.
yeah,
I think he's primed for it.
he's definitely going to be a top 5. I definitely
All
feel.
right, so
Yep.
I'm gonna run over the schedule real quick because the schedule was released for round one, and we have for the Capitals and the Bruins this Saturday night, like I said, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. Bruins at Capitals. That's Saturday, May 15th. That'll be game one. Game two will be Monday, May 17th, 7:30 p.m. Also at the Capitals. And then that next Wednesday, May 19th, the Capitals will come up to Boston. That's a 6:30 p.m. Eastern game. And then game 4 will be Friday, May 21st, also in Boston, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then, if needed, game 5 will be Sunday, May 23rd. That will be in Washington. If needed, Game 6 will be Tuesday, May 25th. That will be back in Boston. And then if needed, Game 7 would be in Washington on Thursday, May 27th. So, getting more into, we'll kind of shift gears to focusing on the Washington matchup now and how well the Bruins match up against them. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of how they fared this season overall. They played 8 games against Washington with a 4-2-2 record. And if you count that last one, that last loss as, kind of put an asterisk next to it, then you could probably say they have a 4-1-2 record. And really, the only loss that was in regulation against them was that 8-1 loss the day before the trade deadline, where they just. And I think that game they didn't have McAvoy, I believe. Like I think they lost a lot of the defensive players.
Yeah, no, I remember for that one. They had.
I remember that was the game. Yeah, that was the
game
that the defensive the third they said the top pairing on defense was like guys that they pulled up from the AHL.
Yeah, it was pretty much. I think it was definitely Jack and Sean. He was definitely there out there. I remember.
Yeah, he was up.
I remember little mini 54 out there. Then we got. I think even back in 9 was in that one, but I know for a fact Hanford, Tenorti, they were in that. But yeah, it was pretty much
a lot of high goal games. I mean, they had 6 games. 6 out of the 8 games had 6 or more goals scored combined. So that's saying something right there. And then the only 2 that weren't were 2-1. And those were the 2 losses that we had. 2-1, 2-1. So,
yeah, we definitely had the number of the Washington Capitals this time. Which, like I said before, this is a nice turnaround because they used to just always have our number. Back in the regular season.
They really have, and
win 3 games out of 3 out of 4.
I was just adding this up real quick, and it's funny because so our record was 4-2-2 against them, and I'd say for the majority of it, our wins were pretty dominant. Our wins were 5-3, 5-1, 6-3, 4-2, and then looking at the losses, 2 of them were in overtime. One of them was actually a shootout. And then the other 2 were the one that we just lost the other day, which was really the baby Bruins, and then just that 8-1 loss we were talking about where the team was completely depleted. So it's like
we had no
the wins were the wins that we when they were at even strength almost, the wins were pretty much dominant by the Bruins. And then, the ones that the Caps did take were kind of not so much even strength as far as we were missing some players. But literally the week after that 8-1 loss, when we had made the trades and everything, we came right back next Sunday and we beat them 6-3, and that was in that huge game where all their scoring literally came off the insane amount of power plays they got, which goes back to we got to stay out of the penalty box.
Yeah, because they're top 5 in power play and penalty kill. We can't mess around with these guys. It's
no, we don't want to give them any opportunities. So, I think if they can play a clean series, avoid going to the box, I think they'll be able to beat them pretty decisively.
They know that they got to stay clean. They're not going to get afraid to get dirty too, because Tom Wilson is out there going to take people's numbers and he's going to look for someone to hurt. And so we got to make sure that Richie and Miller are up to task and make sure to fucking pound his head in.
I bet they are.
Well, we are more
another
suited
interesting thing
for it, so.
We are more suited, compared to the Rangers. We have the guys, which is good. We are more tougher. But it's funny. I was just looking at all the games and the scores, and it's if you take out the shootout win as a goal, because it's a shootout, that's how they won that extra goal. If you just go based on regulation and overtime goals, the Bruins have outscored the Caps 26-24. 26 goals for, 24 goals against. So it's fairly even, I would say, in terms of goals scored.
Yeah, it really is.
But like in 8 games, they put up 50 goals total, so it's definitely going to be a high scoring series.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be
It's
goal
not.
for goal. Like, it's going to be matched with goal for goal, I think. I mean, maybe we'll have like a nice little chance to like get a nice series lead, but it's just like, yeah, this is not going to be like a close series.
No.
Because
It's going to be, it's definitely going to be a grind the way these two teams play. So getting into it a little bit more, let's try to project who we think is going to be these lineups, how the lines are going to play out, because ever since the first and second line basically have been solidified after the trade deadline. Obviously, the first line, the perfection line, everyone knows Marchand, Bergeron, Pasta, and then that second line has solidified with Hall, Krejci, and Craig Smith. But the bottom six, third and fourth lines, he's kind of played with it a little bit, and he's had Nick Ritchie, Charlie Coyle on the third line for a good bit. He's kind of played with that third guy that was up there. First it was DeBrusque for a little while, then Sean Corrali got bumped up because of Coyle's injury the other day. He's put some other guys up there. Frederick was up there. Wagner was up there. They've kind of bounced around. But I think if Coyle comes back healthy for game one, I think it's going to be Ritchie, Corrali, and Coyle on that third line.
Yep, I can agree with that. That's exactly what I would go with. As long as he comes up, Coyle comes up on morning skate, and it's fine for Saturday.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Corrali and Ritchie have kind of solidified themselves as the third line players there.
Yep.
And it's just going to depend on Charlie Coyle's health. And then if he can stay healthy, then that gives us a fourth line of DeBrusque, Curtis Lazar, and Chris Wagner, which is, for as fourth lines go, that's a pretty good fourth line.
That can actually work, yeah. I think that can actually come in handy. So,
and the way Lazar's been playing, he's playing like the fourth line type of guy, center that we've wanted. He's really brought the intensity to that fourth line back.
Turned right into Gregory Campbell, pretty much.
Yep. And that's been needed. That was another underrated move that they did at the trade deadline, was getting him in that same deal with Taylor Hall.
The best thing too is Nebraska's starting to feel himself again. He's starting to feel, ready to go. Like, he's been doing a lot of freaking big time rushes up the ice, getting in breakaways and whatnot, like forcing the puck in. So he's definitely stepped up now. So
now, as for defense, the defensive pairings, it's looking like it's going to be Grzelcyk and McAvoy on the top line.
Yep.
Top defensive pairing.
Reasonable.
Yep.
Yeah. Mike Riley and Brandon Carlo will be the second pairing, which is a great second line, I would say.
Yeah,
definitely.
The way they've been playing. And then the third pairing will be looks like Jeremy Lauzon and Kevin Miller.
Okay. Pretty much like the big D, like
the big grinder, the big D players. I mean, like I said, we've had so much depth there. I mean, we may see them swap in and out. We could see Clifton come in, if they want to give Miller a break, or Lauzon, or I would not be surprised to see a little bit of rotation as far as the bottom defensive the bottom third defensive unit.
I can definitely see it happening too.
Also, with that third and fourth line, you can see it being a Frederick coming in too. I forgot.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on Charlie Coyle's injury. If he doesn't come back right away, we could see Frederick get in there. Maybe DeBrusque goes up to the third line. Maybe it's Frederick or Wagner. Really, there's so many options available that they could mix and match.
Might be
Wagner.
He's the alternate captain. He's like the fifth one, so it'll probably be Wagner on the third line, and then Frederick on the fourth.
They gave him the A for the game against the Capitals the other day when they rested all the starters. So that kind of shows what they think about him.
Yeah, he's team leader.
So exactly. I mean, he might be on that third line. I don't know though.
And you basically have a team leader on your fourth possibly third line. That's saying a
That's
lot
that
about your
exactly,
depth
dude. Right?
for leaders on this team.
Yeah, it's like the fourth line
But
ended up just being a bunch of the young guys. They all trying to make a break.
Exactly, and just going into the playoffs, they're all healthy. I think we're a really hot team going into the playoffs, and I think it's going to help out as long as we can stay healthy. Just want to cherry pick some of these players that we talked about, and out of everyone we mentioned, I want you each to think of one person that you want to see step up in the playoffs. Maybe they haven't done too much in the regular season yet, but you want to see them have a real, just kind of like flip the switch when the playoffs start, and just kind of who would be most important to the Bruins' success and like moving forward and deep into the Stanley Cup playoffs if this guy, flip the switch and turn things on. And I'll give you a minute to think because I'll start with who I think I want to see turn it up. And
Well, we
that
might
would
be in
Jake
agreement.
DeBrusk.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
We
Yeah, we're in
probably
agreement. I think we might all
To
be
me-
in agreement in this one.
Yeah.
To be absolutely honest.
I
Yeah.
mean, we could also
Not a
say
bad
another
year.
one guy. So if you guys can think of anybody else as well, just to talk about, I'll give you a minute. But I'll just talk about Jake DeBrusk. He needs to be, whether he's on the fourth line, the third line, wherever, he needs to, he needs to be that scorer on those bottom lines for us. He's a scorer, and he's kind of like, you can kind of see glimpses of it. And he had I forget if it was the game against the Capitals or if it was the Islanders. It might have been the Islanders. I think it was. He had a basically wide open in front of the net. It was just him and the goalie, and he shoots it right over the net. And he was so mad. He went back to the bench and just smashed his stick in half. And you could just see the frustration. And I'm pretty sure it was the Islanders game because it was in overtime. That's what it was. And luckily, Hall ended up getting the game winner. But you can see how bad he wanted that. So like, you definitely know he wants it. It's just he's not in that groove yet. So I think once he can find that groove again, I think he could be really hot in the playoffs for us, and that would be huge having a player like him going on a hot streak on the third or fourth line, in addition to the scoring we're going to get from the top two lines.
Yeah.
So he's my guy that I would pick that I want to see have a great playoff right off the bat. And if he does, watch out because this team's going to be even scarier than they are right now.
No, exactly.
So,
and plus, I feel like at that point, he will gain the confidence back from Cassidy and probably be like, and maybe Cassidy will be like, all right, we'll give you one more shot. And he throws him up with Hall and Krejci. Just move Smith down, to the
that could
third
happen.
line.
Yeah, that's true.
That could be a deadly line, in my honest opinion. Two snipers with David Krejci.
Oh.
And then Mike Riley, also with Brendan Colo. Yeah. And all they want to do
That's
is shoot
deadly.
shots.
Yeah.
So
It's like that's just as scary as the first line almost. Like that could be other teams' first line right there.
yeah, exactly. You're already looking at freaking, DeBrusk looking like a Pasternak, and Hall looking like a freaking, Marshy, and then Krejci, of course, is Bergy. You got like two of the identical freaking claymations of them all. It's like, Christ. Especially the way they've been playing. Like, the freaking defense have been, like, getting 10 times better. So it's like they've all been, like, going for the Selke Trophy this year. It's crazy.
Yep. Do either of you have another player in mind that you want to bring up?
Mine personally is Rask. He needs to do it not only for like people to trust him again, but he needs to do it for a starting job as the Bruins, but also a starting job in the NHL because his contract's up. And if he really wants to come
playoffs,
back, he
teams that win
needs
that
it.
go end up winning it all. It's because they have a hot goalie going through the playoffs.
Exactly. I mean, he could be. He's hot right now, but he does have a lingering back issue that could mess him up at any time. Like, he needs to be careful, but he needs to play on his head this time. and it's going to be hard with that back. So if he can do that and prove to everybody that he's worth a big money contract, then sure. But otherwise, I'm not willing to put faith or millions into Rask. I'd rather go with Swayman. But he's the guy I'm
Well, I
looking
think
for.
definitely for the future, Swayman will be there.
But he's the guy
In
that,
terms of playoffs wives, yeah, if he can have a great, if he can just turn the switch, use that playoff experience, and just be lights out in the playoffs, that'll go a long way. Definitely, it should get us out of the division in terms of the playoffs, and once you do that, we're basically one game away from the Stanley Cup final. So if he can go on a hot streak, that'd be perfect to see him do that.
And Daddy over here wants to go to a goddamn duck parade. So let's go and win this damn cup.
Do you have anybody in mind, Liam, that you need to see turning around?
You know, everyone has been looking pretty good. I'll say though, I do kind of want to see Brendan Carlo have a pretty good postseason. I want to see not just from defensive side, but like offense. I want to see him pot in some goals. As that will get the confidence really boosted out of everybody. So if Carlo can have like a strong postseason, that'd be nice. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
I'd be happy with that.
Pick
That's
right
a good
there.
one.
Coming back from the injury and getting back into the groove. Yeah, it's
And
maybe this next week.
He played a few games already, and he looked fantastic. But
he's looked good. Yeah, so maybe once he kind of gets back into like his groove after playing for a week, maybe he can really turn it up. Going, perfect timing in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one. I think another one I'll just throw out there real quick that I would love to see come back from the injury, and if he can flip a switch, then they might be unstoppable if all these players we're talking about flip a switch, and that'd be Charlie Coyle. Because he kind of struggled throughout the season. He went on a streak there of not scoring in like 28 games. So...
yeah, that definitely is a player that I would like to see definitely flip a switch. He definitely has the talent to do it, So there would be no reason not to. But I mean, during the playoffs, both playoffs that we acquired him, he did come up to play. So I'm confident that he will find his way back into there. Yeah.
That'd be great to see him. All right, so prediction time. What do you guys think?
Whoop.
Bruins, Caps.
All right.
Bruins in 6.
Well,
Vinny says Bruins in 6.
I'm not gonna lie. This, I feel like, is going to be tight checked, tight defense, lots of penalty minutes, and possibly some pretty goals from both ends. I'm going to take Bruins, of course, but 7.
Ooh, I don't like 7s.
I don't either, but I'm taking, we'll friggin' fly back to Washington and just show that.
That's sweet.
So I think the Bruins are going to split the first 2 games down in Washington. I think they're going to steal one down there, which they need to do.
Yeah.
You can steal one on the road to start, then you're in great position. I see them coming back here and winning both home games. And I think up 3-1, the killer instinct's going to come out, and they're going to go back to Washington and steal Game 5. And I think they're going to... I'm going Bruins in 5.
Ooh. Okay.
I think when they're on, this team can dominate the Capitals. And I think coming fully healthy into this game, I think Washington's kind of been... I don't want to say backing into the playoffs, but they haven't been fully healthy because Ovechkin just came back from an injury and he's still kind of working out the kinks. Tom Wilson's been in and out. He's had his issues. They've kind of, had some issues coming towards the end of the season, and they struggled to beat the baby Bruins to finish off the season on a good note.
Yeah.
So I think they're too good of a team to get shut out, to get swept. I think they'll win one of the first two games, but I think the Bruins are going to come back home, take care of business at home, and they're going to use that momentum of winning two games at home to go back down to Washington and close the door on them. So I'm saying Bruins in 5.
Alrighty. I was even thinking 5 also, but like I was just so feeling like the fact that they're a great team and they will not let up. So it's funny.
It's going to be tough. I would not be surprised if it goes 6.
But you will be
I
surprised
don't think
if
it
it
will
goes
go 7.
Okay.
I wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't be super surprised.
I mean, I
But
really
I
don't
think-
want 7 myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick 7, but like I just feel like
I
it's
wouldn't
just
be
more
super surprised.
logical for me.
But if I had to bet, I would say 5 or 6, and I just say 5 because I'm just thinking of how it might play out in my head, and I think if they go up 3-1, which I think they will, I think they're going to be able to like just close them off. I think our offensive firepower right now is just rolling, and I think they're going to stay out of the penalty box, and I think that's going to be the difference. That I think Rass is going to, like Vinny said, I think Rass is going to have a great playoffs. And I think the difference is going to be the goalies, the fact that we can score with them and play tough with them. And I think if we can just stay out of the box, stay out of the penalty box, I think that will be the deciding factor. I think they need to draw penalties to score a lot of goals against us and push this to game 6 or 7. And I don't know, I just have this feeling that the Bruins aren't gonna get too hurt penalty wise. I think they're gonna play a little bit cleaner, a little bit more crisp. I think they're going into the playoffs, firing on all cylinders, and I think
I mean,
it's gonna be a great series.
I definitely feel like maybe like first 2 games definitely we won't see too many penalties. I feel like once we come home, I feel like that's when the penalties will come because eventually, especially
I
if
hope
like if it goes the way that you're saying, we win one there, then they win that one,
Yeah.
the next one, but we come back to Boston.
Yeah.
Like we'll play with that momentum, then that will start getting under the skin of the Capitals. And Tom Wilson, Hathaway,
Yeah.
Kehd, they're gonna do some stupid shit to fucking get somebody injured, and most likely have player safety have to come in. So we'll see.
I hope it doesn't lead to that because we've seen that they don't have a good track record of
they don't.
upholding player safety.
That's why they'd be dumb if they did that. But like,
No.
I feel like Wilson is just stupid. He's like,
Yeah.
he's just a caveman. He just wants to go, bash, bash, bash.
So let's we're gonna do a little bracket here, our prediction bracket to close up the show, and we're gonna predict the whole entire playoffs.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. I can't wait.
So
I'm
I
gonna
hope
be
you're ready
surprised
for
at some of
this.
my shit.
So I'm trying to figure out the last game, if it's gonna be the Wild or the Blues playing the Golden Knights.
I think it's the Golden Knights versus the Blues, right?
It should be, but for whatever reason, this thing here says Avalanche/Golden Knights versus Wild, Avalanche/Golden Knights versus Blue. Like it's not decided yet, but the Avalanche are 2 points behind the Golden Knights, and they're playing
They
their
might
last
have
game
like an
right
extra
now.
game to play. That's probably why.
But their record is 38-13-4. The Golden Knights is 40-14-2, and the Golden Knights are up 2 points on them. So even if they get a win and get 2 points,
I think their
Their
record.
record-
I think they have the tiebreaker. I think the Avalanche have the tiebreaker of the head-to-heads.
does it go head to head before overall record?
I think it's head-to-head.
Maybe that's what it is.
I think this year it's head-to-head. They changed everything up
Well-
this year, so.
The Kings are currently beating the Avalanche 1-0 right now.
Alright, so.
I'll go into it as the Knights are playing the Blues.
Yeah, that's
and
how
the
I'm looking
Avalanche are
at
playing
it
the
too.
Wild. Just for that purpose, just because we're not really sure. But we'll go with like that, and if it changes, it changes. But honestly, I'm gonna be picking both. I'm probably gonna be picking the Avalanche and the Golden Knights anyway, coming out of either whoever they play. So it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, same.
So we have Colorado versus the Wild.
Wait, did we even do
the Wild.
the other matchup in our division, or are we just gonna skip that right now? And we're gonna circle back to that.
Well, yeah. I was just writing out
Oh,
all the
okay,
the
okay.
matchups, and then we're gonna go down the list.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we
Yeah,
started
my
with the
bad.
Bruins.
My bad.
So we're all on the Bruins advancing.
Yep.
All three of us. So we're 3-0 on that. And we got the Bruins going on to the next game. And then so the other game in our division, we have Pittsburgh Penguins going up against the New York Islanders.
Yep.
So Liam, I'll start with you. How do you think that series is going to play out?
I want the Islanders to win just so we can slap the shit out of them. But I am probably going to say Islanders win in 6.
Islanders in 6.
Honestly,
Islanders in 6.
Yep.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go Islanders in 7. I think Pittsburgh's gonna make it a tough series, but I just think the Islanders are everything that Pittsburgh's dealt with this year, with all the rumors of their team splitting up, the GM wanting to get rid of them, the owner, like I don't know, man. I just don't think
I feel
this
like
year.
they passed that. I feel like they passed that. Because after they
don't know.
fired the GM and whatnot, they've been like on fire, dude. Like they went up from 5th to 1st.
Yeah,
You know what
they're-
Ricky Bobby's daddy said? You could be 2nd, 3rd, hell, you could even come 5th. And they came in 5th, and then now they're 1st. So if you ain't 1st, you're last. There you go.
I think Pittsburgh is just too good offensively for the Islanders. They've gotten a ton of players back. The Islanders have kind of faltered down the stretch here.
That's why I kind of want the Islanders to kind of win. You know, get a little self-confidence.
I mean,
but then,
ideally, yeah. I'll be rooting for the Islanders because I think we can beat them now. I think we can still beat the Penguins, but I think it'll be tougher against the Penguins.
That I feel like if we did, that'd be a Game 7, definitely.
Yes, I mean, yeah, but I don't think the Islanders just have enough offensively to compete with Pittsburgh because they've just been struggling with that. They play great defensively, and they'll probably hold the Penguins down a little bit scoring, but I don't think they're going to be able to score enough to beat them. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh in 6 games. I think the Islanders will be able to steal a couple, but I think ultimately it'll be Pittsburgh in 6.
Okay.
All right, so we'll kind of go by division here, and then we'll move on to the final 4.
Good job,
So
Taylor
after
Hall.
that, both of you picked the Islanders. So
Yep.
who do you have out of the Bruins and the Islanders?
Bruins
Bruins.
5.
I'd say 6.
It's gonna be a gentleman's
Say Bruins
sweep.
in 6.
Yep.
If it was the Islanders that they were playing, I honestly would call for the sweep.
I
think the Islanders are gonna get 1 at home. I think the Islanders are gonna get 1 at home.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like that could have to. Or at least get both.
I
at
went
home.
with
We get
Pittsburgh,
both,
though.
and then just like shut them down.
It's
So
true.
I'm gonna go with the Bruins in 7 versus Pittsburgh.
Again with the 7, damn.
I know.
He'll be tired by the time he gets to the fucking finals with your bracket.
Well, no, I picked the Bruins in 5 versus the Caps.
Yeah, so that would be, they would get like a few days.
Yeah.
They would get like a few days extra rest because then it was Pittsburgh in 6. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
picked
they.
Pittsburgh in 6. Over the
I don't
Islanders.
think Pittsburgh plays on our schedule. Like they're going to play the same day. I think they're going to
I
play the
think
next
they're gonna
day.
be every other day with them.
Exactly.
Divisions, I think.
I can tell you right now. So we start the 15th and
They go on 16.
they start the 16th.
Yeah.
So they're
We'd have like a
so
day or
we
two.
go Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They go Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then continue it if there's more games. We go Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. They go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So they're going to be a day after us every single game.
Okay.
So the only way that they would get more rest than us is if they close out the Islanders
In 4.
in less games than we close out the Capitals.
Yeah. They would only get like maybe a day's rest if we can close them out in 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the
we
quicker
would
we
get
can close
2
the
days
Capitals,
rest if we won in 5 and they went to 6.
Yeah, so we'll have that advantage if we can close out the Capitals fairly fast, which is what I'm hoping for. So I'm gonna go with the Bruins as well to come out of the East, and I'm going to say in 7 games versus Pittsburgh. All right, we'll move down to the what is it? What division was Carolina? It's not the South, is it?
Which one? Carolina? It's the
Is it
Central.
South?
Discover Central? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Central.
All Central. That's right. These divisions are weird, man. We get the
Yeah.
North, we get the East, we get the Central, and the fucking I don't know.
Great White North, eh?
Yeah, but so the Central Division, I guess we have first matchup: the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Nashville Predators.
This is a weird one, especially since Nashville is technically a Western Conference team. So
Yeah,
I like it though. It's weird, but it's nice.
interesting. Definitely
But-
interesting.
I see Carolina like 5 games in that one. To be absolutely honest, Carolina is one of the top teams right now in the Central, and I feel like they're going to keep that going. Nashville
Yep.
looks decent, but just they're not ready to go all the way type of playoff team. If they do, they get to the second round, they lose in the second round. But I'm going with Carolina.
Oh yeah. All right, Vinny.
I'm going Carolina too. I think I'm gonna have them go. I'm gonna go 5 as well. I think they're gonna be a
5
giant
as well?
sweep. Yeah.
All right. I'm going Carolina with the outright sweep. I think they're just one of the best teams in hockey right now. They have a lot of depth too as well. That's a team that we're gonna have to worry about. I think possibly playing. We might actually end up playing them, maybe. So I think they're gonna sweep Nashville.
And now then, to the next one.
Now we have. This is gonna be the Battle of Florida. This is gonna be a great series. I am definitely. When I'm not watching the Bruins games,
I'm
gonna be
watching this one too.
the Panthers Lightning, and lucky for us,
Same.
their game is on Sunday, so we can watch the Panthers Lightning game without missing the Bruins game, or conflicting with the times of the Bruins at the same time.
There we go.
So that's going to be a very interesting series. They were
There's bad
they got
blood.
into some
There is
fights.
bad
Oh,
blood
yeah.
there.
Their last
It's
game.
like the
That's gonna-
Rangers Capitals. It's like
Yeah. Patrick Maroon wanted to fight the whole Florida bench.
yeah, Maroon is getting his playoff mode. He's ready to freaking pound people in.
Oh
So,
yeah.
This is going to be this is going to be an interesting series because the Panthers have been playing really well as of late, and the Lightning have been
They've been on a downside.
they've been on a downside. They've had a lot of injuries. I don't
Vasilevsky's
know if
looking a
Stamkos
little
is-
meh.
He's been looking meh. He might be a little
He-
worn out
he-
because they've played him a lot.
Dude, he
Uh,
was on Steve's dang it. Like, it was bad, man. Like, it was okay, so here's what happened with Vasilevsky. This is a little quick FYI, just in case nobody else knows. Vasilevsky gets out of the net, goes to play the puck. Lightning are on a power play. So he plays the puck, kind of banks it off the back, like at the boards, doesn't even know that a Florida player is actually right behind him. He's thinking that it's a Tampa Bay Lightning defenseman coming in to pick up the puck. And oh, no. It's the Florida guy coming right up, taking it, wrap around, scoring the shorty. So,
Now, before we make our predictions on this, I will tell you the Lightning are getting Steven Stamkos back. He will be playing Sunday. That has already been reported.
that's a big thing that's going to be definitely helpful for them.
And Nikita Kucherov, who hasn't played all season, was cleared for practice. He was on the ice Thursday, and all signs point to him being ready for Game 1 against Florida.
Yo, their cap space is going to hurt. They're so lucky that they're getting in the playoffs. That's why, dude, The more I think about
So
it, the more I feel like Tampa Bay knew this. That's why they got rid of players. But then, Kucherov went out with this quote unquote injury, had to get quote unquote surgery. But they knew they were screwed because of the cap space.
Yeah.
they're
They,
technically
they
getting
cheated
all
the
their
system.
players back.
If they win,
You could, yeah, they did, they did.
they,
You could say that they're healthy because they're getting all their players back,
which is
but
dangerous.
I'd say they're beat up.
Yeah.
Definitely beat up going into the playoffs. They're getting their players back. Who knows if they're actually at 100% or if they're pushing it just to get back for the playoffs. They could be playing at 80%, but it's the playoffs, so they're coming back. So keep that in mind as well. Then
So it's
again,
like one
an
bad hit,
80%,
or
an 80,
just one.
but then again, an 80% Kucherov and an 80% Stamkos is better than a lot of players at 100% in the league. So
Yeah,
there's that too.
that was a scary thing. Yeah.
So a real great matchup against Florida. Florida looks pretty healthy, who have been on a nice run since they all season really. And at the trade deadline, they acquired Sam Bennett, who was like night and day. He's like a new player over there. I mean, he really played well for them.
Well, again, guys going from
With
a losing
Huberdeau,
team to a winning team, so
Barkov.
feels a lot better. you
Yep.
know?
So I'll start off with Liam. Who do you got in the Battle of Florida? Panthers versus the Lightning.
Y'all are probably gonna go with the same team, but on a different game. I am going with the winner out of the Battle of Florida is going to be the non-defending Stanley Cup champs. As in, Florida is going to do the thing of beauty and beat the Lightning in 7 games after a hard-fought, gruesome, bloody, teary-eyed fucking battle.
Whew.
Oh,
Florida's going to win the Battle of Florida, according to Liam.
the state
All
is
right.
going to win, and not this little dinky-ass city named Tampa Bay. No.
Vinny, who do you got coming out of the Battle of Florida?
This might come to a shock as many. I agree with Liam again.
Oh. Dang. Okay.
Florida
A lot
is
of agreeing
7.
going on here.
My reasoning is because what you said though, Mike. They're banged up, and that
Yeah.
Florida is gonna take great advantage of.
Yes. So, you said Florida in 7? Both
Yep.
of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now he's going to
So,
be a different guy.
I'm going a little bit different here.
Yeah.
I've been different pretty much all night for the most part. Whether even if we pick the same team, I've said different
Outcomes.
scenarios and they win. But it comes to the Battle of Florida. For one, it's going to be decided in 6 games.
Okay.
Game 7 here. I see it's going to be back and forth the first 4 games. So they're going to go into Game 5 tied up 2-2. I can see Florida taking the first game just because they're hot. I see Tampa Bay comes back in the second game after their guys have got some basically
Some
broke
ice
the
time.
ice.
Yeah.
Got some ice time. Got a little time in. I think they'll win game 2. Like I said, I think it'll be 2-2 when they go into game 5. But I think once they start playing a lot of games, that bang up, injured Tampa Bay team coming into the playoffs, not necessarily rolling, not necessarily, clicking on all cylinders, kind of like limping into the playoffs. I would definitely say they were limping into the playoffs. I mean, they had a great record, so they were making the playoffs. There was no doubt in that division. But despite, knowing they're going to be in the playoffs, they kind of limped in as they weren't playing their best hockey or even close to it down the stretch. And I think that's going to catch up to them. And that's going to end up costing them the series. And I think they're going to drop the final two and lose 4-2 in 6 games to the Florida Panthers, who win the Battle of Florida.
Okay, so we're all in agreement. Florida's going to win, but just not with the game. Okay, I dig it.
I think Florida's one of those hot teams, kind of like underdogish. They've been playing better than some people think they should have been playing, and I think it's going to help them roll into the first series of the playoffs.
Against so too.
a team that they
back in the playoffs.
Bobrovsky's back. Yep,
Ah.
they're clicking. This is going to be a brawl against Tampa. Like they are ready to go. They are fired up, and I think being the healthier team and clicking on all cylinders, getting all fired up going into a series like this, I think that's going to be the difference.
And plus, you always want to knock out the defending Stanley Cup champs. Always
Exactly,
do.
and that's another thing is Tampa Bay's got that target on their back, and everyone wants to beat the champs, and that's gonna be a little extra motivation for Florida. So I got them going in 6 games. So then, continuing in this division, we all have Florida going up against Carolina.
Yep.
And I will start with you, Liam. Who do you have coming out of the Carolina-Florida matchup?
Ooh. This is a toughie to choose from, too. Because both teams would be coming off of, like, a gentleman's sweep. Except for, you know, in our opinion, Florida with their 7 games. Sheesh. All the momentum will be a lot of this game. I think I will take Carolina in 6.
Carolina in 6, okay.
Like, Panthers will do the job, eliminate the defending champs. But after that, it's really going to be a whole click deal to like get into like the second round. So everyone's got to keep performing the same way. And so does Carolina knows this too. They've gone to like the Eastern Conference Finals and get blown out, by us.
Yep, they have.
So they definitely want to at least make it back to that point. They want to make it further to that point. So I feel like Carolina definitely will take it next. It'll be a hard-fought victory. It will be done.
All right, Vinny, how do you have this playing out?
I feel like coming off of the win against Tampa, I feel like that's going to propel Florida into going the distance yet again against Carolina. And it's going to be 7 games with the Panthers coming out.
Oh, so that means it's going to be Bruins versus Panthers.
Interesting. Vinny's going with the Florida Panthers, upsetting the Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay, all right. That's 1-1, though.
All right.
Oh, we got to get the third.
So,
speak.
I was just kind of looking over their series over the season, and Florida only won twice, I think, and they were both overtime games. I think Carolina's been one of the hottest teams this season, and I think they're the better team than Florida. Florida's not going to get swept. They're a good team. They've been hot. They're coming off a big win over Tampa that we have them going. But I think coming off that big win, off that big high, they're going to come in and play Carolina, who I think Carolina is better than Tampa. And I think it's going to be kind of like a little bit of a knockdown. So I'm going with Carolina with the gentleman's sweep in 5 games.
Okay.
All right. The other way. Okay, so we got Carolina.
We all got Carolina.
Versus Bruins.
All right,
in
now.
the Eastern Conference.
Yep. Going down to the North Division, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs
Hey, great North,
versus the Montreal Canadiens.
Montreal.
Two teams the Bruins know very well.
Gary heard me. Montreal. 5 games. Toronto's gonna
Ooh.
fucking flop like the goddamn New York Jets. They're gonna become the butt bumble of the fucking NHL Hockey League. They're gonna literally become mulch.
Wow. So you're going with Montreal over Toronto. Toronto, another first round playoff exit.
I know I'm
be
gonna be hella wrong,
hilarious.
but I'm just gonna go with it. I don't give a damn.
That would be hilarious. Vinny, who do you got?
Unfortunately, I'm not agreeing with Liam. I'm going to go Toronto in this one. And I think they're going to go in 6. I think,
Toronto in 6?
yeah, I think Toronto's going to win and move on.
So I think Montreal they kind of limped into the playoffs as well. They had a lot of injuries. I think they played better this season than they really are. I think they're another year away from really being a really great team. I think they're a team that has a lot of good players, but they don't really have I wouldn't say a top line that really can compete with the other top line teams out there. I don't think they have a real great top line. So I think that's what's going to hurt them in this Toronto series. Toronto definitely has a lot of scorers on that team. And I think I don't know who's going to be starting. I think it's going to be Jack Campbell because I think Frederick Anderson's still out. Now, Campbell doesn't have that playoff experience, but he's shown to be a better goalie than Frederick Anderson has been. So I think that's going to be a little bit of a boost for them. And they're going to win a playoff series for the first time in 5 bajillion years.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's
I'm going Toronto
like 8.
with Toronto with the sweep. Yeah, it's probably more like 8, but you know what I mean.
Or maybe actually 11, actually, maybe.
It feels like it's 5 bajillion years for their fans. I know that.
That's me. Someone on TikTok I follow. He's happy that they're in playoff mode, but he's scared. Just don't blame him.
I mean, really, how can you not be? All right, next matchup in the North, we have the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid's, we could say the Edmonton Connor McDavid's, versus the Winnipeg Jets.
Edmonton, I see that. Edmonton, definitely.
Are we boring you? Somebody's yawning. He's bored.
That was Liam.
Yeah, I'm fucking tired.
We're almost done with this.
I'm more weird.
You got Edmonton? You got Edmonton, Liam?
Yeah, I got Edmonton going 7 games. Even though Edmonton kind of played very well against Winnipeg and kind of had a number, I feel like though as much as you want to go off of these assumptions, but it's playoff hockey. A lot of people are going to be more focused than they would be in a regular season game. Regular season games, you can kind of take it easy, pick and choose your battles, of how much you want to be hardcore on it or just somewhat.
Yeah.
But I definitely see Edmonton finally winning their first playoff round in a while too against Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Benny, who do you have?
I have Edmonton in 6.
Okay. I'm going to go with Edmonton in 6 as well. I think Calgary will put up a little bit... I mean, not Calgary. Winnipeg will put up a little bit of a fight. But Edmonton is just the better team.
Yep.
And they got the best player in the league. So I got Edmonton in 6. So we're all on Edmonton. All right. And then coming out of that division... Liam, you have Edmonton versus Montreal. So I'll start with you. Who do you have coming out of that game?
I'm going to say Edmonton.
Edmonton over Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Edmonton might actually go to the finals. Not the Stanley Cup finals. That might be, but I think they'll definitely make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Okay. So Liam going with Edmonton all the way. The Edmonton Connor McDavid's.
Yep.
All right, Vinny. We had Toronto.
Yeah.
So Edmonton versus Toronto. Who do you have coming out of that matchup?
Honestly, I think it's gonna be Toronto. Toronto's gonna come out.
Toronto.
Yeah. And Toronto's gonna beat the McDavids. They're gonna shut McDavid down, and they once they do that, the team's gonna slowly start to crumble. I think.
Oh wow.
And to
Okay.
be absolutely honest, like Toronto and Edmonton are kind of like equal. They have a good amount of equal, like big, big time players over there on both ends. You know,
Yep.
for like
They
Connor
are.
McDavid,
There's a lot of star power. A lot of
Draisaitl,
star power.
Nugent Hopkins, Nurse. You know, and then they got Tavares, Matthews, Marner. You know, so yeah, I feel like that's gonna be an equal matchup if it ends that way.
So, I also went with Toronto versus Edmonton for this final matchup here.
I really want
And
Toronto to win.
I
Got
think
secret
they're the
Toronto
two best
fans up in
teams.
this bitch.
I think they're definitely the two best teams in that division, of course. Um, they have all the star power. Just kind of looking over the season schedule, Toronto's kind of had the advantage in Edmonton's number. I do remember Toronto finding a way to shut down Connor McDavid a lot of the times they played them. Those weeks I struggled with McDavid on my fantasy team going up against Toronto. They just seem to have some way to limit him. But I think with Edmonton being as good as they are, they won't, you know, make it easy on them. So I'm going. This is going to be a game 7 deciding matchup.
Damn.
This is going to be another good series. I'm going to take Toronto in game 7 over Edmonton.
Jeez.
And Toronto is going to be riding high off of back-to-back playoff wins. They're going to be feeling like this is their year.
Yeah, you kind of have to. They got Gilmo Joe over there. They want to get him a cup.
Yeah, they do.
Same with
Now we
Tavares.
get to the final division. And our first game will start with the Colorado Avalanche versus the Minnesota Wild.
That's gonna be a good one.
This should be a good series. Minnesota's been an up-and-coming team that played really well this season. Colorado, they've been Colorado. That top line of
McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen.
McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog. Yeah, that's just. And then they got some depth players too, but like they're a loaded team as well. Colorado.
I'm going with gentleman's sweep, Colorado.
Colorado with the gentleman's sweep. Okay, Liam.
I'm gonna go Colorado in 6.
Colorado in 6. All right. I'm going to go with Colorado in 6 as well. I think Minnesota's going to take a couple games. I think they're a good up-and-coming team, but I think the talent of Colorado is just going to be too much for them in the end, and Colorado takes it in 6 as well. Next up, we have the Vegas Golden Knights versus the St. Louis Blues. Those damn Blues. Liam?
Vegas, gentleman's sweep.
Gentlemen's sleep.
Vegas
Golden
is
Knights.
a hot team right now. They're still hot. They won the President's Trophy. They want to continue on, and they want to go for another cup. Simple as that. And St. Louis is in the way. St. Louis is beat up. They're now getting some of their key players back, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They might win a home game, but I just don't see them going that far.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel the same somewhat. Vinny?
I'm gonna say Vegas, but they're gonna sweep them.
Vegas in the sweep. Oof. All right. I'm going to go with Vegas as well with the gentleman's sweep. I think St. Louis will take one game at home in St. Louis, but it's not going to be it might be just when they're down 3-0 and they're just playing with their hearts out in that game 4 game, but then I think game 5 will come around and Vegas will just take it and sweep St. Louis under the rug.
Yep. So now we got Vegas versus, I believe, Colorado.
So we all got Vegas versus Colorado, and this is going to be
Oh, that's
Another
gonna be
great
the
matchup.
game to be watching like closely.
These divisions are looking like it's gonna have some really good round two matchups.
Literally, I feel like it's going to be like one versus like the Bruins the third, but I feel like definitely for us it's going to be a third place team and then up against the first place team, and then up against maybe a second
Yeah,
round team on the other side, and first
yeah.
round. So it's no matter what, first versus second.
All
So
right, so Liam, we'll start things off with you. Who do you have
Vegas
winning
versus
between the Colorado
Colorado.
Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights? This is a really tough matchup to predict
Yeah,
as well.
and a lot of Vegas odds have been really bumping up Colorado to be like the one that actually gets it this year. But I think they're gonna regret not going with their pretty boys over here. So I'll take Vegas, and I think this will be a 7-game series. I think it'll be close. Goalies are gonna
Yeah,
freaking come out and play because they'll have, Vegas has Leonard and Fleury, but I think Grubauer is just as good or as better as them. So yeah, gonna definitely be a goalie battle, and
okay.
just it's gonna be scoring too. Like even though
Yeah, yeah.
they've got like three great goaltenders right there, I still don't feel like they're gonna be enough to like stop what is gonna come.
Yeah.
Like Colorado has way too many weapons to like not be able to like put that
How
one
many
in.
games did you say?
7. I'm going with 7. This is gonna be
Colorado in 7.
this is gonna be a close one for me. My,
Okay. Liam's got Colorado in 7.
which
Vinny, how
means
about you?
I think Vegas wants it more, to be honest. They tasted Stanley Cup once, like, very close. They tasted what it was like being there. They want it.
Yep.
I think it's going to be Vegas, and I think it's going to be 7.
I guess
Okay.
we're on the same page. Vegas and 7.
Whew. Well, he said Colorado. Did you say Colorado or Vegas, Liam?
You said Colorado, Liam. Oh, I think you said
No.
Colorado.
I thought you said Colorado too. So you're taking Vegas?
Yeah, I said Vegas and 7.
Okay.
It's just gonna be like
Oh,
I
my
said,
bad.
just a
I thought you said Colorado.
no. Well, I was
All right,
talking
so
about both. So that's probably why you got fucked.
Oh,
yeah.
that
No,
could be
okay, so
why.
you're taking Vegas in 7.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was just kind of looking back at their schedules against each other, their head-to-head matchups. They literally tied their seasons. They were 4-4, dead even.
Yeah.
And every single game has been close. These two teams
that just
are really
even
good.
furthers my argument right there. That this is going to definitely probably 7 games.
So
And this is
I
gonna be
agree
tight.
with I agree with you guys. This is going 7 games. I think they both have great offenses. I think Colorado has a great defense, but I think what the difference is going to be is in net, and Vegas has the better goalie, the more experienced goalie.
Only have 2 more very experienced goalies.
They have 2 more experienced goalies, yeah. I'm going Vegas as well in 7.
Like Vegas is the money team right now. They're looking like the Yankees.
Yeah, they are.
Like
Yeah, they're really good. So this is going to be interesting. Okay.
so that means now for me
We'll go
it's gonna
back
be
up to-
Vegas versus
Well,
Oh,
now we're going back up to the East versus the Central.
Imosabe.
We all picked Boston. Vinny, you picked did you pick Florida?
Yes.
Yes, you picked Florida.
Or he got Boston and Florida.
So you have Boston, Florida. Me and Liam have Boston and Carolina. So, Liam, Boston, Carolina. Who do you got?
Even though this is a Boston sports kid, we're all biased, so we're gonna pick Boston either way. I'm gonna obviously pick Boston, but
Okay.
I'm gonna.
What if
go
we're
with
not
6.
Boston's? What if we weren't
You're not
Boston
confident?
sports kid?
Well, then pretty much second
Well,
round wouldn't be Bruins. I would pick somebody else.
Oh.
So you're picking the
Oh.
Bruins because that's our team. But if you were like an independent outsider, who would you pick?
Well, like I said, it would probably be Boston, Pittsburgh in the second round, I would actually pick Pittsburgh. But then,
But if
once
you were looking at Boston, Carolina, who would you pick if you were unbiased?
I probably would actually say Carolina because they're a hot team and they just came off of, two,
Yeah.
obviously a quick clinch of, the first round, but at least, the second round they had to go through a tough team in Florida. So,
Yeah.
they have the confidence, but so do we. So it's like, but I would probably pick Carolina, but, Boston's definitely.
But you're going
taking
Boston.
6. Yeah.
All right. Vinny, what are you going with? Boston or Florida?
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard fought. We'll go Boston in 7.
Okay. Boston 7 versus Florida. All right.
That would be interesting. I would like that.
So I got Boston versus Carolina. I think this is going to be a really great series. I think the two best teams in these two divisions total. If I had to rank them, I'd probably go Boston, Carolina at the top, obviously. Then I would go Pittsburgh. And then, I don't know, between Florida, Tampa, and Washington, they're all kind of jumbled up there for me. I think Nashville and Islanders are the two worst teams in the playoffs for those two divisions.
Yeah.
But
They
they're
could
all
be
good.
sleeper agents and just end up, playing very well.
Yeah. This game is going 7 games. This series is going 7 games.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this unbiasedly because I'm trying to make good predictions. So I think going to the Stanley Cup final will be the Boston Bruins. I think they will beat Carolina in 7 games. I think ultimately by then they will show that they are the better team. Carolina is definitely talented, definitely has a lot of depth. But I think as far as the top line players go, especially adding Taylor Hall, playoff Krejci, I think Boston will take it in Game 7 versus Carolina. And I think a big issue of that will be the goalies as well. Because I think Boston's good old friend, you know who I'm talking about, Liam. I think he's going to end up playing.
The fuck is that, a pony driver?
and just like he let Toronto fans down, he will end up letting Carolina fans down.
Yeah. He's the starter, isn't he?
So he wasn't, because there was an injury to
Mrazek, right?
who's it? Yeah, Mrazek had an injury. I think he did come back. Let me check his status right now.
Yeah, let's look that up and make sure because
Yeah, I
I
think he is.
But he's got over
playing.
20 wins with a decent
Wait a
save
second.
percentage then.
How recently was this?
I don't know. It's going to be a tough one.
Okay, now he is back. All right. I think so. Mrazek will be playing. He will be starting. But I think he's going to get injured during the series. Because I think that's going to be their luck.
Right.
And that's going to... So, as good as he is, I think that he will get injured at some point during the series. And then the Carolina Hurricanes... Well, actually, they've been rolling with Alex Nedeljkovic, I think it's how it's pronounced. So maybe James Reimer won't be playing for him.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Oh, man, shit. I'm going to have to change mine. I'm just kidding. I'm not changing it. I'm going with the Bruins.
Yeah, right.
All right. Next up,
Bruins going to the Stanley Cup
we
Finals.
all have the Bruins going to the Stanley Cup Final, and they will be playing who? We have...
Vegas.
We'll go back to the division we just did. We have the Vegas Golden Knights, and they are playing for Liam, they will be playing the Edmonton Oilers.
I'm gonna be so fucking wrong about this. It's totally gonna be Toronto versus Vegas. But fuck it. Oh, you guys are gonna be so fucking weirded out by this. But I want to see.
Okay.
I want to see a rematch, and I want to see this rematch be claimed by the underdogs. That is the Bruins. So it's going to be Edmonton versus Boston in my Stanley Cup final.
Liam has Edmonton knocking out the Vegas Golden Knights.
I'm
to
saying
go to the
screw
Stanley
Vegas.
Cup
They can eat that
final.
humble pie. McDavid can get to his first Stanley Cup final just to lose to Boston. So they could complete the circle of McDavid not being Gretzky because Gretzky would have beaten them. And go fuck yourself, McDavid. Whoa. That was
All
nice
right.
to get off my chest. Yeah. So,
Vinny?
I see, 6 games.
6 games, okay. Edmonton in 6 games over Vegas. Vinny, who do you have? Now, Vinny, we have Toronto going up against Vegas. Who do you have coming out of that matchup?
See, this one's tough for me. This one's really tough because personally, I want to see both teams just for the sheer fact that, like, Boston crushing Toronto in the Stanley Cup final would be amazing. Amazing.
All over their fucking jersey.
I love Vegas. Like, just Vegas in general. I feel like they want it more. I think I'm gonna have to go Toronto. I think Toronto's gonna end up winning.
He wants that original 6 matchup.
I do,
Okay.
and
Wow.
I think it's gonna be close. But I don't think it's gonna be too close. I honestly think somehow, some way, it's gonna end in 6.
Okay. So Toronto over Vegas in 6. So this is where I have the Toronto Maple Leafs' dreams being crushed. Their fans crying in the streets. It just took a little longer for the annual tradition to happen this year. Instead of round 1 of the playoffs, they lasted a few more rounds and were able to make it to just the doorstep of the Stanley Cup final. But alas, their dreams were crushed by the Vegas Golden Knights
In 7.
in 7 games.
This dick. Yeah, they got it.
In all of Toronto.
I mean, actually, I shouldn't be talking. I had them go up against Montreal and lose in 5. I'm more of a dick than he is.
You had to lose to Montreal.
You
That would be if they lost to if I was a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, I could deal with losing to Vegas
Especially
in
the
this
fact
yeah,
that
I
the
would
Western Conference.
as opposed to losing to a depleted Montreal team in the first round. That's a dick move right there.
Yeah.
All right, so we all have 3 different Stanley Cup Finals matchups, which is interesting. So we'll start off with you, Liam. Boston versus Edmonton for the Stanley Cup. Lord Stanley will be going to who?
The man that wears the C on his chest. But his first name begins with a P. And then you add the B. And then you add the J. You get the peanut butter and jelly sandwich with the Stanley Cup champagne pouring down his throat. Connor McDavid doesn't start with a P and a B. Patrice Bergeron will lift.
Liam is going with Patrice Bergeron and the Boston Bruins to bring home the second Stanley Cup.
And we're going to have
Bergeron's
5
tenure.
games out of this son of a bitch.
In 5.
And you know
Bruins
what?
in
Guess
5.
what? Guess what? You know what? I'm going to be weird and be like, Bettman, make the game into an afternoon game. So even if the lights turn off, screw it. We can play later on in the night. So we ain't having to deal with having to go to Edmonton We win in Boston. Actually, wait.
All right.
No, actually, Edmonton would be... Edmonton's second, right?
Yeah, Edmonton would be second in that.
Yeah.
They would have game... I would have to pick game 6 for us if I can win it. In home. Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm sick of game 5. Just win it in Edmonton. Screw! Screw!
I mean, that's how we won it. We won it in Vancouver, so it would be only fitting to win it in Canada again.
Yeah, since we can't fucking apparently get it done back at home.
Yeah. All right, Vinny, you have Boston versus Toronto in the Stanley Cup Final. Toronto making it to the Stanley Cup Finals
I know the long
against their
shot.
arch
The long
nemesis,
shot.
the team that has sent them home crying in the first round for how many years?
He wants a sweep.
Fucking forever. I would love a fucking sweep.
He wants a sweep. Just put down a sweep for him.
But
You know, he's doing it.
but I'm gonna give Toronto one game at home. I'm gonna give Toronto the first game at home. They're gonna lose.
Give Toronto a gentleman's sweep.
They're gonna lose 2 games in Boston. You know why? The crowd of people that are gonna be in Boston shitting all over Toronto. Just all over Toronto, trying to get fucking Boston ready. Then they're gonna go to Toronto. Toronto's gonna be tired of that. They're gonna have home crowd advantage. They're gonna win that one. It might even go to overtime. Game 4 though, Bruins are like, nah, fuck that. Fuck that. We're done. This is over. That's it. You're done, kid.
Well,
You're
no,
done.
they would have home ice advantage first, actually. So they would actually have to, lose game 1 and 2. So I'd say they win game 1. They lose game 2. Then win game 3 and 4. Go back to Toronto for game 5. And then come back to Boston for game 6.
Yeah, but they're not losing. They're not losing 2
You got
games in
Boston
Toronto.
in 5.
I got Toronto, Boston in 5. Yep. Boston in 5.
is in Toronto.
Boston in 5.
And then, you know what? Just to make a little
And
bit
Canada
of
as well.
icing on the cake, dude. Game 5 is not only gonna be Boston winning, it's gonna be a
I was like, can you
fucking
imagine-
annihilation. They're
Imagine
gonna go.
losing, not even losing to Boston in the Stanley Cup Final after you finally make it there. You lose to Boston again. You lose in Toronto, and you get your asses whooped.
They're gonna
Vinny's
get
being the dick.
destroyed.
Yeah.
in
Vinny's being the
Toronto.
dick.
It's gonna be something like 5-2, 5-1, dude. And it's just in Toronto. Toronto is gonna. Everybody's
Say
gonna be
5-0.
outside like they were
Oh, yeah. There's
when
gonna
we
be
came
people
back.
outside, like, crying.
3 games to none and 1-7, and they're gonna be outside. They're gonna be crying, and you're gonna see everybody hugging. And you're gonna see this and that because they're gonna be up 2 goals.
And then the
none.
most
They're gonna get out to a
fans are gonna
fast
just start burning
start.
jerseys.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Taylor Hall's gonna break that fucking dam open, and the floodgates in Toronto. Enjoy. Enjoy.
There's gonna be 2 fires. If the Bruins win in Canada, there's gonna be 2 fires. There's gonna be one in Edmonton. There's gonna be one in Toronto.
I would love to see that happen. But since I did not have a Canadian team making it to the Stanley Cup playoffs, because I'm holding it down for America, and we're going to make sure that no Canadian team wins the Stanley Cup, no matter what, no matter who ends up being. I think this series is going 7 games. This is going to be one of the
And that would be
greatest
in fucking Vegas.
Stanley Cup finals that we've ever witnessed in a long time.
And
Every single game will be close throughout the series. I think every game will be decided by a goal or 2. The second goal could be like the empty netter.
I would
think
rather see
in
overtime.
Game 7.
I would want to see a game 7, 5-5 going in overtime, and Brad Marchand just doing what he does best, carry the team.
Taylor Hall.
Game 7
I would want now Marshy.
in Vegas. In overtime.
Dramatic pause.
David Krejci.
Oh,
Playoff
Wow,
Krejci.
you're gonna do playoff Krejci? You guys have been dormant. All right.
Brings the Stanley Cup back to Boston.
I well, yeah,
See,
that 100% on that.
see, if I was going with that one, I would do Boston in 7 as well. Just saying, it's gonna be hard fought. Every game close, like you said.
I think if that's really the ends up being the series, that's gonna be a series
And honestly,
right there.
I hate to say this, but if it's Vegas and Boston, Vegas is gonna win in 7, and Tuukka's done. If it's Tuukka, if it's not Tuukka and it's Swayman, it's gonna be Boston in 6. They're gonna win it in Boston, and it's gonna be over. That's Swayman's gonna prove to everybody that he's not a fucking chump. Just saying, in my opinion. Just saying. If it's Rask, it's Game 7. Vegas wins. If it's
So go figure.
Swayman,
We all have the Bruins taking home the Stanley Cup Finals. What else did you expect?
unless it's Rask.
We will see how this really plays out, and who knows? Maybe by round 2 of the playoffs, all our brackets are completely busted, and we look like idiots.
Rask, prove me wrong, you asshole. Prove me fucking wrong.
But who knows?
Montreal prove me
Either
right.
way,
Please.
we will be back.
Bro, I swear to God, if Montreal wins the fucking Stanley Cup, I might actually punch a hole in my wall.
I'm getting a Weber jersey. I'm sorry.
So
Actually, I'm getting a
back.
Carey Price one.
I don't want to say it, Mike. I don't want to say it,
Yeah.
but I might actually have to finally abide by your request that you have been mentioning in the group chat a bunch of times so you can come into my house. I might have to actually do that if Montreal wins. Like, I would be completely devastated if Montreal wins the Stanley Cup.
Hey, can we get a little
win the Stanley Cup,
incense on that?
I'm
We
running
need some
to a bunker.
context.
I'm just saying.
I'm not
Hell is running
exactly
over.
sure
I'm
what
just
we're
saying.
gonna
The
do.
world is ending.
I'm going to need to slap
It's
myself to make
Armageddon.
sure I'm awake. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slap myself. Bitch, wake up.
All right. So now that we've woken up from that nightmare, when do you guys want to come back? So we got games Saturday and Monday, games 1 and 2. The next game will be Wednesday, and then Friday will be game 4. So do you want to come back next Saturday after 4 games, or do you want to do? We can try to do
A middle or end of series recap at 4 games. I think that'd be legit.
Yeah,
I think that'd be
I think
legit.
that's what we'll do.
That
come
way
back.
we have an idea of what's going on with the playoffs.
Yep, we'll come back next Saturday. We may end up doing some short podcasts if possible. Maybe just 1 or 2 of us throughout the week if one of these games is like really, really, really worth talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll definitely do a full recap next Saturday, whether it's a series closing recap or if it's preparing for Game 5, which will be on next Sunday. So, with all that said, it was a great regular season. Things are looking up for the Bruins. It's going to be a great playoff run. Though different this year, it's definitely going to be interesting. And I'm excited. I can't wait for things to kick off and get started finally. The playoffs are here finally Saturday. The Bruins, the Caps. Let's get this going, guys.
Yep.
This has been It's Boston Sports Kid. Have a great night.
Let's fucking go.
We want the cup.
We want the cup.